The GM technology allows bioscientists to create varieties of crops such as corn, rice, cowpea, and the rest that have higher yields per acreage and at the same time resistant to pests and other vagaries which otherwise would have constrained their cultivation. Proponents believe GM is the way to fight hunger and ensure food security through increased crop productivity where conventional breeding is limited. Critics have, however, expressed worry that such experiments could get out of hand and may result in the production of a crop variety that may cause destruction rather than good.
The GMO technology is said that it will take a gene from one plant or organism and add it to the gene of another organism so that certain properties are conferred on that new organism or food crop. And that is unnatural. That shows that if there are any health implications by way of doing that transfer, that is conferred on the new organism, then that, gets carried into the food chain of the people. Maize GMOs have been found to cause serious health problems in rats. That maize crop was able to resist pest attack. However, it brought health implications when they were testing it on rats.
The National Biosafety Committee, however, disagrees. Deputy Director, Biosafety and Biodiversity of the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, Eric Amaning Okori, explains it is for this reason that trials will first take place in confined fields. According to him, though approval has been given, the trials will not start until the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research's Savannah Agriculture Research Institute and the Crop Research Institute have addressed biosafety issues raised in their applications.
When the applications are submitted, we go through the applications, look at some deficiencies, and then we list them out and give it to them. The condition is that they have to address the deficiencies and submit to the committee before the testing can start. So we have granted them the permit, all right. We are waiting for them to work on the deficiencies that we identified, submit to the application, submit to the committee, and then they can start work. They haven't brought it. One of them was contingency plans, for to arrest any situation that may arise in their trials.
Savannah Agriculture Research Institute in Tamale expects to undertake confined field trials of GM COWPEA in July 2013. Evaluations of GM sweet potatoes and rice will also be carried out by the Crop Research Institute in Kumasi, possibly during the cropping season. Both institutes will designate confined fields on their premises in Tamale and Kumasi respectively, where the evaluations will take place. Lead investigator for GM COWPEA project, Dr. Ibrahim Kwesi Atokple, says the Savannah Agriculture Research Institute will take delivery of GM COWPEA seeds sometime in April from Australia. Samples for GM sweet potatoes and rice, on the other hand, will be imported from the USA. Researchers are looking to address the issue of malnutrition and low yields by increasing essential amino acids in sweet potatoes, tolerance to drought and high nitrogen use efficiency in rice, as well as pest resistance in cowpea. Activities of maruca or pod borer, a key insect pest of cowpea, can result in lower grain quality and yield reduction of between 30 and 80%, experts say. According to Dr. Atokple, a protein or Bt gene derived from a soil bacterium called Bacillus thuringiensis, which is resistant to this insect pest, has been transferred into the GM or Bt cowpea.
The gene we are talking of is a form of protein. What it does is that when the insect takes it in or ingests it, it goes to affect its digestive system, breaks it down. So eventually it dies. It does not grow to develop. That is the larvae of the insect that destroys the cowpea seeds. When we find an event or one of the transgenics or the GMOs being resistant to the insect, we are going to cross, or I'm going to cross this event with commercial cowpea varieties which the institute have released, which are the conventional cowpeas the farmers are growing. For example, Apabala, POTATOE, Zayura, and the rest, with the aim of maintaining the quality and agronomic practices of those commercial varieties, and then the added trait of the resistance to this insect pest.
Though the confined field trials are expected to last 3 years, Dr. Atukple says the evaluations and crossings will continue until the expected results are obtained. The issue of GM foods remains controversial, also because the critics again argue alteration of the genetic makeup of crops could be dangerous to human health. The Biosafety Committee maintains safety will not be compromised.
If a genetically modified organism has passed through biosafety, the safety is assured. Because in biosafety, we do risk assessment. What we look out for is that when you compare the GMO and the conventional, that is the non-modified, the only difference we expect to see before we pass it, as food or feed or whatever, should be the gene that has been added. So if it is maize, when you do the compositional analysis, all that a conventional maize is supposed to have must be there. And then it must not be different in the modified, the GMO, except the gene that has been added. And then we look at the gene that has been added. Is it pathogenic? Does it have a history of people eating that kind of gene and then getting sick? Does it produce any allergenicity in some individuals? Does it produce any antigen or toxin? If it does not, then we accept it.
Meanwhile, the Biosafety Committee says regulators comprising the Environmental Protection Agency, Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Division of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, SEPS, Food and Drugs Board, as well as scientists will constantly inspect the field trials to ensure the research institutes strictly observe the confinement measures that have been put in place.